Hello, I'm Neil Robinson, the sales manager here at Storth Machinery. I just wanted to take a little bit of time out this afternoon to talk you around our chopper pumps and chopper pump frames. Okay, so let's start at the beginning of the story. The beginning of the story really is the frame, and the frame forms the backbone of the pump system and the chopper pump system. So we've got a category 3 3-point linkage, and that'll fit on the rear of the tractor obviously, but also on the front of tractors as well. So if you're wanting to move things from the front to the back and vice versa, we've got capacity for that. As you can see, and you'll see it throughout the presentation, everything that is metal is galvanized here. We're involved in slurry, and everything we do here at Storth is involved in slurry, so we try to galvanize everything. The frame comes in just short of 100 kilograms. It's at 99 kilograms, so it's no lightweight frame by any means, and it's probably the heaviest and most solid built on the market today. And that is supported on 4 legs, as you can see, and those legs have all got pins, so the legs can be moved well and truly out of the way if you want to run your pump pipe left, right, up, down, whichever way you want to run that. The epitome really of the frame is this here, this profile, and this profile forms the backbone of the pump. It's an 8mm profile, and you can see various different holes on that. So we've designed it so it will accommodate a Bauer pump, an SX1000, a Doda pump, an L35 or an L35 HD, or if you want a Kryman or Blue Line pump as well. So it's a really versatile pump that's built solidly. Couple of options available. The first option, and we sell quite regularly, is a 3-point linkage to female A-frame. So if you want to use a male A-frame on your tractor, whether that's a Storth heavy duty one or a standard red type one, you can use that if you want to. And the second option really that we sell a lot of is this, and you can see this attaches the back of there, allows you to pull your compressor, or if you really want to, your ATV trailer. And I have no worries over strength. As I said, it's built like a brick outhouse. So lots of weight and so on. Okay, so moving on in Blue Peter style, the next step really is to fit the primer. So we've got a hydraulic primer. So you were plugging that into the tractor, and you can see there's a one-way valve on that, so you can't run the primer the wrong way around. It's a Hertel B400 primer, and very solid, very reliable, and has done us proud for a number of years now. It's supported by a 10.5 litre vacuum vessel. So basically we're trying to stop slurry getting into our primer. Slurry in there is expensive. So we've got clear tubing throughout, and as we suck slurry, so once we engage our hydraulics, basically we're firing the pump, and that's creating a vacuum, so it's sucking through the vessel, and our tap's turned off, and through the Bauer primer ball that sits on top of the pipework, and we'll come on to the pipework in a minute. So you can see on top of there, or underneath there, you've got in there a little black ball, and basically as we're sucking away, it's sucking up there, and once the slurry fills in the pipe, it pushes the ball upwards, and it changes the note of the suction, a little bit like a tanker, which most of you will be aware of. Once you hear that change in the note, and you see your 6-inch suction hose start to sink, you've got prime. Probably the last key point I have to the primer system is these 2 bottles. Originally we used a Doda bottle, which was like a clear bottle about this size, and the problem we found was you ended up with the heat and the cold, condensation forming in the bottle and polluting the oil. So we've moved to these bottles now, and these bottles do not get condensation inside them, and the oil in those is always clean for the 2 little dosage units, which are keeping your vacuum pump oiled, and they're looking at about a drop every 4 seconds on those. Okay, so we've got our frame. You can see now we've got all our safety decals on there that's telling you what to do and what to be careful of. We've got our primer, and I forgot to mention before, here's the exhaust tube for that. So once it's sucking the air out of our pipework, it's blowing the excess air out the way down here. And we've got on this one a Doda L35. You can tell this is an L35 and an L35 HD because you've basically got a cooling jacket on the HD. Okay, we're selling the HD as a 1 to 2.73 or the 1 to 3.31, depending on how big a tractor you've got and what pipework you're sending it to field down. So pretty much we've got every eventuality of pump that you want to look at. Okay, so just as a bit of variety, we've now put a Bauer pump on there, so you can see how the Bauer pump is mounted still on the same frame as I said earlier. Now we've 3 different types of pipework to put onto the pump. So you see what we talked about earlier here with the Bauer ball. This now connects onto what we call our Farmer Plus pipework. This is our entry-level pipework. So basically you've got a manual valve. So once you've primed, you would turn this off for priming. Once it's primed, this is now full of slurry. We set the PTO shaft into gear on the tractor. Obviously our slurry hose is off to the transport hose is off to the field here. Once that's full, we would open that and slurry then starts to flow down the pipe. Once we're confident we've kept our prime, we rev the tractor. But as you can see, it's dead simple, all 4-inch pipe work, all galvanised, which we feel is really important in terms of the longevity of the pipe work. And underneath here you can see another 3/4-inch tap with a compressor fitting. So if you want to blow the slurry out afterwards, connect your compressor on. I would advise you put a one-way valve on there, but you can see you can do that if you want to, and you can blow air in without splitting the pipe. All of the pipes and all of the pipe works that we supply standard have a 4-inch Bauer male with a lock-in ring fitting, and they're genuine Bauer fittings. All of our umbilical stuff uses genuine Bauer fittings, and you can adjust the angle of that if you want to. You can see we've got it set coming off to the back left of the pump, but you can change that to what position you brought that onto the pump. Entirely up to you. Okay, next step then, and I'm going to jump 2 steps here really, is to jump onto this is contractor plus pipe work. So I said we do a farmer plus, we do a contractor, and basically the contractor is if you delete this area here, put a blanking plate here, and this is the contractor plus version. So what's the difference between the contractor and the contractor plus? Basically the contractor plus comes with a return to tank or return to lagoon setup, whereas the contractor does not. Both of them have a sponge chamber, which I'll talk about in a minute, and both of them have at the bottom a 90-degree Bauer 4-inch male, which you can rotate that to 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, wherever you want that, depending on where you've got your tractor, where your lagoon or store is. Okay, so big red hurtle valves. These are 2-way valves, 6-inch valves, and these are tested up to 17 bar. We'll see a lot of people that are using single acting spring valves, lovely and visible, but those spring valves are only really tested up to 5 bar. Potentially in this pipe work we're looking at something that's operating round and about 8 to let's say 12 bar, so you've an awful lot of bar pressure in there. Now you're probably not going to close these when under full pressure, but it depends on who's on that seat and what happens on the day. So we're trying to build a bit of safety in with valves that are rated to do the job properly. The other thing that we are doing is these valves are sandwiched not just with the normal 4-bolt positioning. We've got 2 bolts on either side, so we're pulling these really thick, and they're running about 12mm profiles together. So we're trying to build something that's strong. 10-12 bar is serious pressure, and we have to be careful what we're doing, and there's reference to that here in terms of the decals. So it's important to realize what sort of pressures you're dealing with. So that's why we're using the hurtle valves, that's why they're big and strong, that's why we galvanise the pipe. Everything is built strong. It's not built to a price, it's built strong. Okay, so return to tank is say on the contractor plus, and that's on a Bauer 4-inch male. If you go back to tank, and then here, as I mentioned earlier, this is our sponge chamber. So this sponge chamber is standard on the contractor pipe work. So we looked at the farmer pipe work earlier. The only issue you've got with the farmer pipe work is you can blow it out with air. If you want to put a sponge into that, you've got to split this here. So you've got to split this line, and we've got to put the sponge into here. Now that's okay if our pipe's running downhill. If our pipe's running uphill, we have an opportunity to get covered in slurry, and you're trying not to do that. So basically what the sponge chamber offers us is an opportunity not to split the field pipe, which is here, but to basically feed a sponge in, and I've got one in here already prepared. Just pop that off. So basically slurry is going down this side. This is a clean zone. We want to blow out. Basically we put the sponge in. Well, we would release any pressure that's in this chamber before we pop that off. We put the sponge in, cap back on, we're reclamping. Okay, close the pressure there. Basically put our compressor on here. We'll close that for now. Start the compressor up. Pressure builds up. Our ball's sat here now. We're basically opening up and we're blowing the ball down the line, and that's cleaning the inside of the pipe. So it's giving you a really clean pipe. And that'll take a 4-inch sponge or a 5-inch sponge. Okay. Guess another couple of things to look at is the hydraulics and where we're storing our hydraulic hoses. What you'll see on most old pump frames is these pumps nicely laid on the floor in the dirt and in the muck and in the filth, Just connect that to the tractor, and we all have a rag in our pocket. No, we don't, so that goes in the tractor. What we've tried to do here is give you a parking position for every one of the pipes, so you can see when you're not using those, they're up and out of the way, not dangling in the muck, and you're keeping that tractor clean. The other thing that we've done, and you can see there, is we've colour coded all the pipes, so I know that this is our field. The yellow is the return to tank, and the green is obviously the primer. So we're trying to make life easier for you straight away from day one. All of the pumps are supplied with a heavy duty PTO shaft, and those will all have a shear bolt on there, and all the pumps are at 1000 RPM. We've also then got a manual, and everything that we sell is CE marked. You'll get with the pump, and you'll see it in here. This is packed up. If you're going to export, you've got a Bauer manual, you've got the pump manual, and then you've also got Stoss manual as well. So basically that's telling you how to operate the pump, how to prime the pump, and in the back of there is our parts list, which works alongside, and you can see there, that works alongside the Bauer parts list as well. So we're trying to think of everything that's going to be that you need today, but also going forwards. Okay, I think that's me. Thank you.